There is this woman in Seattle who for $150 will write you a 3-minute monologue, guaranteed to land you a gig. And for another $20, she'll read your palm and bless your favorite loafers. Not that I need anything like that. I'm a professional actor. I have been since I was 6. On 3 separate occasions, I've been paid. I've had numerous successes in my career. 3rd teeny bopper from the left and a KFC National leaps to mind. But the highlight of my career was performing Shakespeare in the Raw with Sylvester Stallone in the kiddie pool at Lincoln Park. It was so indie. We performed for 16 hours a day for 6 days. At one point, there was an entire Girl Scout troop in the audience. That's like 10 people. When the cops finally showed up, we'd already made an impact. The Weekly said we'd done things to Shakespeare that had never been done before. Isn't that intense? Anyway, the life of an artiste has staggering highs and humbling lows. I'm living with my mom on her couch because she turned my old room into a bird aviary. I had a great place on Capitol Hill with my girlfriend until she got cast as Dune in a gender swap of Brigadoon. She said she needed her space so she could find her inner Scott. Whatever. Just for a lark, I took out a loan at 28.8% plus collateral, my 73 VW Bug, and I went to see Madame Hollywood. The chick who writes monologues. Oh, I slapped my cash down, and in 5 minutes she was done. Whale Song. That's my monologue. Honestly, it's incredible. It's the best thing I've ever read, and I've read every play in the West Seattle Library. It's so true, so deep. I mean really deep. When I'm done here, I've got an audition at the Woodland Park Aquarium. It's a voiceover, a national. And I am so freaking stoked.
Really, Sam? Really? You think that I should praise God that we got to have her for 5 years? When Dad got cancer and we all prayed for him to be cured, I still praised God from relieving him from his suffering when he died. When Anna got hooked on drugs, we all prayed for 6 years that she would get off of them. And when she finally died, under a bridge covered in her own vomit and filth, we all said, at least she'll be with God now, at peace. I prayed every day. I prayed at home, at work, in the car. Hell, I even prayed on the goddamn toilet, Sam. And for what? Where has God been? He wasn't there when Anna got hooked on drugs. He wasn't there when Mom got hit by that stupid driver. And he sure as hell wasn't there to protect Rebecca from that gunman. Where has God been, Sam? He's taken everything away from me, except the things that I asked him to take. Not the drugs, not the cancer, not the bullets. No. He's left me with a husband, with you. A husband who thinks that I should go to church, sing his holy name, and give praises to him. Ask him for forgiveness. So you know what, Sam? When you die, you ask him where he was when our daughter died in a hell bullets. Because he clearly wasn't there. I prayed my whole damn life. But you know what? It's pretty damn obvious. He wasn't there. I really don't think he'll miss my prayers since he's never heard them. So I'll just sit here in my godforsaken apartment, smoking my goddamn joint, and praying that he'll take the pain away. Maybe that would be the fucking prayer he finally answers.
I shuffle the cards, but he deals. He always deals, handing me my fate while staring into my eyes. He hands me my cards. We've barely begun, and already I'm losing. Freedom is having more than two options, he says. He's looking at his cards now. He could have a bad hand. I hand him a penny and watch his face for a reaction. I mean, he says, why should I only have to be with you for the rest of my life? Because that's what I thought love was! But even language betrays me. He throws away one card. Probably a queen. But you knew that about me already, didn't you? He says. He's looking at me now. I look at my cards. A pair of twos. 6, 9, 10. I could try for the inside straight. No. I keep the twos and he says, but you already knew I had a problem with monogamy. He bets a penny and I match it. I'm bluffing, but he doesn't know it. Call, I say, and he lays down a full house. I excuse myself to go throw up in the bathroom. We're playing another hand. Poker at the kitchen table as summer fades away. Something shifted. The air ripples with it. I love him and I hate him with equal intensity. He agreed to talk to me before he progressed past the fantasies in his head. But I know he's already betrayed me. I can see past his cards, past his skin, to the lies that he's already told. I have 20 pennies in front of me. I'm losing, as usual. I try to calculate how much longer I can continue to play. What are you going to do? He asks me. I'm taking the risk this time, and I take 2 cards. Even now, I want to go to him. I want to push his chair back, straddle his lap, wrap myself around him, and make him love only me. I hate my body for betraying me. You suck! I think about both of us. I look at his face. The air is heavy and still between us. I lay my cards down, quietly face down on the table. Fold, I say. I'm out.
Marion Barnes.
Why am I here? Why was I arrested?
Do you know who I am?
Morality police? A controller?
Then you know why you're here.
I don't. I'm a mom, a teacher. I pay my taxes.
Enough! Your assets have been liquidated. Your children have been fostered. By morning, the machine will be charged and you will be reprogrammed.
Please don't do this.
You made your choice.
So you erase me? Cancel me?
Not cancellation, Miss Barnes. Consequences. Yes. It will be broadcast. Then yes, your children will see. It's not unexpected. The machine requires a lot of power. The security grid will be down for a few minutes. 4.2 minutes, to be exact. Harmony is our only goal, Miss Barnes. Conformity leaves no one alone.
Everyone knows that humans were cowards. They hated the unknown because they feared it. They hated difference because it wasn't what they knew, and they destroyed it. A little at a time, and then a lot all at once. Once difference was gone, so was the world. All the flowers, all the birds, all the grass and trees, and all the humans. After tolerance broke, all that was left was dust and sand, a scorching sun, a disfigured moon, radiation, and the wind. Now our cities stand encased in domes, towering, huge, and alive. We're held here captive by the government, but we're held tighter by our fear. It would take too much courage to even dream of leaving the dome. For outside is the wind, the destroyer of the old world and the tormentor of the new. Even the children know what this razor claws, needle teeth, with its blazing eyes and mighty roar, the wind is a tiger. That's where I got my name, Tiger. Because the humans may all be dead, but we are something more, something fierce, something strong. So why do we stay here? Why do we hide in these encased cities? Yes, We've made these streets our own. But I ask you now, do you want more? Do you want more than just darkness? More than captivity? You know, I'm a warrior. But I don't want to die on these streets and become a merely another lack of number. I want more. Do you even know what more is? Can you comprehend the freedom? Being able to speak and think and love the way you want? Do you want to run as fast and as far as you please, knowing you will find no walls, no barriers? Ask me how, and I will tell you, there is only one way. Escape. Escape to the wind.
All right, I'll admit it. I'm not a very good housewife. I mean, yes, I love my kids, my husband, our dog, the bird, the fish, 6 kittens. Yeah. But I want more. Not more kittens, but more life. By the time I was off work for 3 weeks, I was ready to beg for my job back. I was doing it. Jones, me begging to my, please, you gotta give me an assignment. Anything. I'll mask up, I'll wrap up my whole body in bubble wrap and lather myself in sanitizer. Just then, my little one walks in to tell me that her baby brother is wearing her favorite dress. Enjoy your vacation, my boss says. Asshole. My husband. Oh, briefcase in hand, running out the door for work. Oh, I hated any business that was up and running because they didn't believe in germs, science, or democracy. Let me tell you, forget something, I hurled his bag lunch at him. He goes, Twinkies! So I chased him out the house. Woo, is he fast? Man. I go back in the house to see my daughter Emily choking her baby brother. I want to be an TikTok star. Oh my. 20 minutes later, we're driving down the street and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if the people at CPS are going to notice that the hand marks across Jeffrey's neck are only small enough to be his little baby sisters. Will I find myself in jail? Would that be so bad? Little Miss O'Leary, walking her poodle Buffy, stops us at the stop sign. Can you get me some milk, eggs, and cheese, Carl, since you're out? Can't say no. It's a small town. Little Miss O'Leary, she is walking down the street with a face shield, a mask, social distancing herself from mailboxes. Crying out loud! I'm imagining this. Just jumping the curb. But of course, I agreed to getting her groceries. I mean, I have to shop for Twinkies anyways. So, you know, I park at Tasty Foods, hand the iPads to all the kids, lock the door, leave a crack in the window. As I'm walking to the store, of course, I step in somebody's chewing gum. So, you know, get down the aisle, knock over the Twinkies, because, well, I'm really upset. I knock over the Twinkies, step on a box or two. Did you know Twinkies reinflate? The box is a little sticky. But hey, I get Miss O'Leary's milk, eggs, and cheese, and a bulk case of SpaghettiOs. What else? A bottle of wine. The only reminder that I am a grown-ass woman, even when I'm temporarily unemployed. Get to the line. You know, lines are staggering because everybody's social distancing. I asked the lady in front of me if I can just kindly step in front of her. I mean, she has 2 full carts of food. She looks over her little beanie minion mask and says, I'm like, she's looking at me and my SpaghettiOs? I wanted to hurl a can at her. She's like, ooh! Tell ya. Then the clerk. We get to the checkout line. The clerk. This is the funny part. She has the nerves to ask me for my ID. I'm 46 years old. I get back to the car to see little Jeffrey performing a little Nas song in the front seat. Children. Dang. After dropping Sir Larry's groceries on her front porch, I go to put things away. And I drop my wine, out of all things, my wine, into the toaster oven. It breaks. So I spend majority of the time trying to clean this up. Picking glass out of a toaster oven. See these cups? While I'm doing that, I'm taking the wine, pouring it into the cauldron, wringing it out. I'm still gonna drink this bitch. My husband, he gets in late, crosses the kitchen. His eyes never leave the jagged edge of the Cabernet bottle. He looks at me, and I just look back at him. Hand him a half-shared glass. Well, I have the broken bottle in my hand, and I just tell him, on days like this, sometimes I just like to bite the tops off.
So, ultimate ensemble, right? It's a theory of everything. And it's crap. You know, this one's garbage, ladies and gentlemen, and all other configurations of being. This one's a stinker. So, ultimate ensemble, it's a theory of everything. It purports, and in theory of everything, of course, itself being a purported answer to the question of what is the fundamental building block of the universe. And of course, that's the problem with TOEs as a phenomenon. It's just like, what's the fundamental particle? Oh, anything that was smaller than whatever was considered fundamental 10 years ago. And the ultimate ensemble theory purports that the fundament is mathematics. And I'm just like, ugh. Because, Gödel's incompleteness theorem pretty much kills it stone dead, because the way it got started was basically scientists were like, oh yeah, mathematics is such a powerful language, it must be perfect. But then Gödel steps in, with the incompleteness theorem, basically saying, look, any language complex enough to be powerful cannot be perfect. And you're also, not to mention, look at the ego that these humans must have, patting themselves on the back that, oh yeah, this language that we created to interpret data of the universe around us, oh yeah, we got it right first time, and that's the fundament. Come on. I get that academics sometimes have a bit of an ego, but even that's a bit much. But this is the problem with TOEs as a phenomenon. You're trying to absolutely define something, and trying to absolutely define anything is inherently going to run into all these problems, And I'm just thinking, and I'm sitting there like, no, you can't. Don't even try. Actually, I'm lying. Do try, but umbrella statements are bad, okay?
I've come here to find him, by the sand and sea. I try and stay neutral, to blend into the rumble of the ocean that drowns out his thoughts. He thinks they can't find him here. But what he doesn't understand is that no one can. I let myself into the old beach house. We've both had a key since our parents passed. Our only inheritance is a shared one. We exist in these walls at the same time, but not in the same way. It's almost as if I walk these rooms with a ghost, with a shadow of who he was. We both live with memories. His hair used to tumble in waves to his shoulders, but at least it's not buzzed off anymore. Their menace and his terror etched riverbeds of fear into his face. His eyes are the shade of the ocean. His bare feet are soundless when he walks. His breath like a sigh. His bones pushing out against his skin, as pale as moonlight on Arabian sands. If he knows I'm here, he gives me no sign. Maybe they kept him because his skin was smooth. Maybe they kept him because he was like a sapling, bending and never breaking. The breaking came later, once he was free. He sleeps in corners and closets, hidden away from everything and everyone. Sometimes he screams. 10 years later, and he still screams. I woke one night and he was standing at the window in my room, looking out. The curtain blew inward and wrapped around him. He was naked, bare to the night air, oblivious, it seemed to me, or anyone, or anything. He felt invisible. After long moments where I held my breath, moments where I wondered what to say, or if saying anything at all would cause him to throw himself past the curtains and over the balcony, onto the rocks and waves below. After all those moments, he simply turned away. His body slipping from moonlight back into shadow. He left my room, and what could I do? I cried and fell back asleep. I came here to find him. From a green, rainy place to this one of sand and sea. He came here from sand and more sand, and concrete rooms washed down with fire hoses, and too much blood summoned too many flies. They kept him. Why had they kept him? Maybe because his face has been sweet and loyal. Maybe it amused them that he wanted to live. I have allowed my own identity to slip away. I have become one color, the color he is. Almost no color at all. I am his reflection, or refraction. I am the wind over his skin. I want to be a whisper of spring when all he sees is winter. I say nothing to him. I say nothing to anyone for almost a year. Almost a year before he seems to acknowledge my presence. There's no recognition, no words, but he'll eat the food I leave for him. He'll sit in the room with me if I stay very still. I called to him once. Nathan, Nate. He tore away, wildfire, and hid in the attic for a week. Now, I stay quiet. It's storm season here on the coast. New England is as cold and gray as my Pacific Northwest is wet and green. I miss my home, but I won't leave here without him. Thank you for your service. Just isn't enough. On the shortest day of the year, there's barely any daylight at all. He moves through the house like a wraith, like a formless mist, reacting to sounds I don't hear. Wincing from blows I wish I could feel just so I could understand. His t-shirt and fatigues are ragged and threadbare. Sometimes, when he sleeps, I wash his clothes, and other times I wake to hear him in the shower. He thinks the water hides his sobs, but there's no shame in crying. I cry with him. After 2 years, I wake to find him in my doorway. He's pressed to the shadows of the wall as if the moonlight is a searchlight, and he's trying to escape them again, forever on repeat. My heart is breaking and re-breaking. My big brother, my best friend, my hero. I do it again without thinking. I say it again. Nathan. Nate. He's looking at me. It takes my breath away. He's trying. He's trying so hard to be seen. He falls in a heap of bones to the floor. He wants to be invisible. But I want to see him. I want to hold him. But I don't. I move around him like the wind. I cover him with the quilt our grandmother made. He sleeps. I do not. I sold my house in the West. I shipped my things here. He's the only family I have left, and he's still the brother I love. He keeps watch over me. He finds comfort in routine. The days pass as he sleeps, and at night he stands in my door or at my window and makes sure they don't come in. He's okay if I see him now. He doesn't have to be invisible anymore. And sometimes, just sometimes, when the sunlight hours are short and the dark cool of night seeps through every open window, sometimes he sees me too. Once, just once, I thought he whispered my name.
Faye,
I thought he whispered,
thank you.
but it's so hard to be certain when the ocean is roaring. I'm afraid. Actually, I'm scared shitless. I'm afraid of being eaten by them. I haven't seen them yet. The aliens. I saw the rocks. We all did. All over the world. That was 3 weeks ago. I've been hiding ever since. They hit us with meteors. Hundreds, thousands of them, I guess. For 12 hours, all the brainiacs in the government said was that it was a natural disaster of biblical proportions. Everyone was just trying not to get hit by a giant space rock. And then the aliens sent down their robots and cyborgs and their giant spacecrafts. That's when they started grabbing people to eat. We're like free-range chickens to them. That's the last time I heard a government broadcast. Radios and television stations are pretty much dead, like all of us. Like I said, I haven't seen an alien myself, but rumors say they look like squids. I've seen some cyborgs, some six-wheeled robots, and a few flying discs and triangular air-shaped crafts. And I've seen thoughts of people die, including some friends. So I'm hiding. I found a basement in an old Seattle office building. I grabbed food and water, and some other stuff from a coffee shop. I have a flashlight and a butcher knife because I heard some humans are helping the squid harvest us. What the fuck? I'm confused and lonely. I wish they would just go away. I want to find my family. I hope they survived. Wait, did you hear that? Did you see that? Something in the shadows over there? You locked it when you came in, didn't you?
Do not insult me with your pity. Do not waste my time with your mercy, what little of either remains. I am only mortal, and so I have no time to hear your insipid spittle about how I must open up, or that I must find someone. Regale me never with these atrocious lies and rot. Subject me never to such ridiculous drivel. I am the opponent you cannot defeat. I am the wall that stands in your way, and the citadel you can never conquer. I exist despite you and all else, and all of who I am is who I intend to be. There is no hidden layer for you to access, no brighter side that you can break through to. That you even try confirms you as the very enemy that must be shut out. Demand never vulnerability from me. No word that escapes you should ever be of the kind that asks me to tell you all and reveal myself in totality. That you even would disturbs and sickens me. Why else would you probe for weaknesses? How do you intend to undermine the walls that ensure my stalwart stand forever? Do not insult me with your madness. I don't call you blind because I don't know you, but I do call you one who knows not what I am or what I want, and your insistence to do what obstruction you disguise as aid only proves further that you are the enemy. Bringing rams to the gates only proves that I need to shore up the door. Taking ladders to the walls only confirms that those walls must be built higher. For every tactic, a counter. For every strike, a parry. You cannot defeat me, and it disturbs me that you would even try. What do you hope to accomplish? What are you hoping comes out of it? What grand reward do you think is going to come pouring out of rainbows to relish you in the glory of what you managed to do? I promise you, you'll never make me your trophy. You'll never make me a fool, a challenge to be conquered, a puzzle to be solved. I will ensure it. I have before, and I will continue to do so. There is no word you can say I haven't heard already. There is no argument that you can sling upon me that I haven't encountered a dozen times before from opponents a dozen times more zealous. It sickens me how many like you there are in this world, but I've got better things to do than put you down. Better things that I must now get to. Better things that make use of my time, rather than bombard it with drivel and dross. As in, things that are actually worth doing, and not a complete and utter waste of my mortal time. Talk is cheap. It costs nothing, in fact. No wonder that's the only thing people are willing to do.
The fact that we fell in love isn't important. The fact that we both adore the theater and the symphony, that we believe in God, that we have faith in our country, that I'm on the town council and she's a professor of 12 years, that we fell out of love, that we're gay. None of this means anything. What means something is Joshua. What means everything is my son. He's not trivia or media headlines. He's not a publicity ploy or an uncovered scandal. He's my heart, my breath. I was the first person in the world to hold him. He was so small, so silent. His tiny hand reached out and touched my mouth. I smiled even as tears fell from my eyes. We didn't know then that he was deaf. Very late, in those long hours before dawn, in those long years before he learned to sleep through the night, I would warm his bottle, always testing the smooth, sweet formula against the soft skin of my arm, always holding him to my chest, bowing my head to murmur against his downy hair as the rocking chair and my heartbeat lulled him to dreams. And sometimes I wondered why other children his age cooed and giggled and talked nonsense words. But other times I just wondered how anyone could be as perfect as Joshua. I was there when he found our Westie. Greta had died. He clung to her, rocking. Strangled sounds came from his throat. Sounds he somehow knew weren't the words he was trying to make, and that made it all even worse. All I could do was sink down beside him, holding him, nodding my head again and again, because he wasn't saying words, but I knew what he meant. I was there when he sobbed his broken sobs, when the public school wouldn't let him attend their kindergarten. His tears stained my shirt, but I didn't care. It wasn't important. I was first to learn sign language. I taught him the motions that gave his silence voice. And he was eloquent, and I was proud. So proud that through my tears I watched him sign, "I love you, Mama." It was the first time. The first "I love you." The first "Mama." But not the last. So now I stand before you, pleading my case, while your interpreter signs for my 7-year-old son who sits in the front row. I do not ask for full custody. I don't even ask for joint custody because I know that it won't be granted. I ask only for the right to see my son. The prosecuting attorney insists that my case is indeed a sad one, but that the dilemma I face is personal, one that I must figure out on my own. My dilemma is not a mother's dilemma. And in part, that is true. I did not give birth to Joshua. None of my blood runs in his veins. But if genetics is all that a mother is, then why are they needed past the delivery room? If I were a man, this case would have taken 1 day instead of 3 months. Joshua has stated to the court that he wants to be with me. If I were a man, I would be granted full custody. But as this court can plainly see, I am not a man. I can make no demands and stake no claims. I can only say, I love Joshua. And that is what is important.
John and I should have lived together before we were married. That's the one and only thing we did wrong. All of our friends told us we were crazy. You should have joint credit cards and 4 kids by the time you're married. But we wanted to do things the old-fashioned way. We went steady, held hands, met each other's families. Long engagement. Very long. 6 years. When we finally got married, his grandmother was so excited, she died. John's mother said that Grandmother Moore's last words were, "By the time they have kids, we'll have a woman in the White House." Well, we elected Kamala, but I'm not pregnant. There's too much turmoil in the house for a child. Too much tension. Too much bloodlust. Don't get me wrong. I love John even more than the first day he looked me in the eye and said, "Do you want fries with that?" Ugh, shivers. It's not John at all. It's the beast. The monster. The animal. Biff. John's cat. Biff is no ordinary cat. He's 20 years old. He's 30 pounds. He only has 3 working legs. His tail is crooked, and he's blind in one eye. His meow is like emergency sirens, and his purr, well, he doesn't. Ever. 3 times a day, John feeds Biff. Once at 6, once at 3, and once at midnight. If Biff isn't fed a full bowl of tasty crunchy bits at exactly each of those times, he becomes demon spawn. Don't laugh, I'm serious. Biff has chewed a hole through the couch. He's thrown up on my pillow. He peed in our casserole. Once, the store was out of tasty crunchy bits. We tried feeding Biff fishy chicken liver nuggets, the cat food of champions, instead. Biff ate my thesis. 200 pages on the reproductive cycle of Norwegian greenbutt beetles. But it's not just about food. That would be too easy. Biff also demands to sleep on our bed. He must have his head on John's pillow, and the blanket must be tucked to his ears. I'm flexible. I can share John with the cat. The problem is the noise. I must have complete silence in order to sleep. John is silent as an angel. Biff snores so loud, he shakes the windows. I've tried earplugs, sleeping pills. I couldn't stand it. I put a pillow over Biff's head. He thrashed. He put a foot in my mouth. I gagged. I leaned very close to him and listened. His snores were huge but raspy. He's so old he probably only has 1 working lung. I tried whispering over and over. Go towards the light, Biff. Go towards the light. Finally, I ended up sleeping on the couch. My foot got stuck in the hole that Biff chewed, and my ankle ached for a month. I thought my chance had finally come the day Biff was sleeping on top of my file cabinet. I was cleaning out a drawer of files when Biff yawned and rolled over. The sheer momentum of his massive belly toppled his body over the edge of the cabinet and right into the empty drawer. My mind screamed out, Close it! Close the drawer! I knew all I had to do was slam that drawer shut, and all my problems would be over. No more sleepless nights. No more cat toys the size of watermelons to trip over. No more strange lick marks on the butter. No more Biff. I dove towards the drawer, ready to end my torment. But just then, I heard John calling my name. Shelley, sweetheart, I'm home. I knew then that Biff had to live. No matter how disgusting Biff is, John loves him. And the truth is, I love John more than I hate Biff. A little bit more. Very, very little. So, I've tried to make peace. Biff is no longer allowed to sleep in our bed, though I can still hear his snores from under the bedroom door. Biff has apologized for eating my thesis, though the writing on the card looked a little like John's. I no longer try to kill Biff by shutting him into drawers, but every so often I slip out into the living room where Biff sleeps. And I lean over and I whisper to him, "The light, Biff. Isn't it beautiful?"